Partitioning a whole into fraction parts. Partitioning a whole, that means one thing, one whole thing. It just means you take that one thing and you break it down, or you divide it into equal parts, because that's what a fraction is. It's one thing broken into equal parts. If you see TH on the end of a number word or a word name, that tells you that you are going to have a fraction or equal parts of something. The exceptions to this is when you have the word halves, which means 2 equal parts, and thirds, which means 3 equal parts. Here's some examples of other words that do use TH. So we have fourths. The number before the TH lets you know how many parts, and the TH lets you know that it is a fraction. It's not 4 parts, but it's one thing broken into 4 parts. So if I have a square and I want it in fourths, I can break it up in many different ways. You don't have to always do it in one way. You could have fourths this way. You could have fourths like this. And notice, if you're partitioning and it asks you to break something into fourths, you want to use one less line if you're doing strips. So if I'm breaking this square into fourths, I only needed 3 lines in between to give me 4 strips, or 3 lines across. So keep that in mind when you're partitioning. Thirds means I want one thing broken into 3 equal parts. So I'm going to draw the circle because a lot of you have problems making this into 3 equal parts. I want to notice this is not thirds because it is not in 3 equal parts. So when you have a circle and you're trying to do that, you want to kind of make I'm going to call it a Y in the circle, because that will give you the 3 equal parts in a circle. Just keep that in mind. Also, when we're talking about sixth equal parts. So right now, before we end our video, you're going to be asked to take a strip of paper and partition it into many different parts, the fourths, the thirds, the sixths. And so I'm going to show you an example here with fifths. So here I have a strip, and what I'm being asked to do is partition this into fifths. Fifths tell me how many. That's 5, and TH lets me know that this one thing is into 5 strips. Now sometimes partitioning a shape and getting the parts exactly equals hard. So you can use a ruler to help you, and that's what I have. I have a small ruler here that is in the fifths. So the first thing I'm going to do is measure this, and it's in inches. So I'm going to start at the beginning. When you measure, you always start at the beginning or 0. You don't start at 1. Always start at 0. And so I'm going to the end. Here's the strip of my paper, and you can see this is 5 inches exactly. So because the ruler kind of helps me break this up into 5 parts, the ruler is already broken into 5 equal parts. And you can see them here. Here's your lines on the ruler, and you can see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces. And so that's what the numbers on a ruler are telling you. 5 inches, those are my units. So I could use the ruler, the lines of the rulers, to help me get my fifths. And you're going to do this with a pencil, and you're going to be as careful as you can. It may not be exact, but it'll be closer if you use a ruler. And if you want to, instead of drawing lines right away, you can just draw a dot where you see the lines, and then you can use your ruler to make a straight edge so that you do have straight lines when you go to make them, right where your dot was. So now I've partitioned this into fifths. You're going to do this with strips of paper. Go ahead and practice. You want to do the first one in fourths. Use your ruler because the paper is not going to be in fourths. The paper is going to be in twelfths. So you need to find 4 equal parts of that. Okay, that is partitioning a shape into equal parts.